I am now a god. Call me Odin. I have been reborn. Hey guys, it's Julian here with another anime review. Come again? I swear I heard you say you are a god. When did that happen? You know, I became a god like today, because I got reborn today, just like in the day I became a god. Duh. You just said today was the day you became a god, so how could today be like today? If today was the day you became a god, so you can't compare today to something like today. I swear to God, your low intellect is the reason you do not watch good anime and understand all my references. I'm going to pretend I didn't hear that. So can we get on to the important thing? What anime are we reviewing today? The anime we are reviewing today is The Day I Became a God. Roll the poster! Do not give him a chance to respond. Alright, so rarely does an anime ever get me so flustered up that I just have to really talk about it. This is one of those times. Fair warning, spoiler ahead, I will be completely disclosing kind of the plot lines of this anime. But don't worry, I'm not going to give enough that you guys aren't going to want to watch it. Again, go ahead, go watch the anime for yourselves and form your own opinions. But let's go into mine. The anime follows Hina, who is a young girl who believes she is a god and calls herself Odin. Alright, interesting premise a bit here. Well, she meets a boy named Youta and decides to stick by him, sort of seeming at random at first, but Youta doesn't quite believe that she's a god, and I mean, why should we? But she starts to make premonitions and they start coming true. She even says that if Youta were to call up his parents, they would say that it's okay if Hina stays with them. Alright, well, throughout the anime, Hina and Youta go around helping their closest family friends with various tasks, with helping kind of repairing family bonds. It's overall a very heartwarming anime. Hina using her powers, again what we seem to be powers of a god, to help repair these families is a really feel-good moment. And Youta just kind of goes along with it and things just kind of really fall into place with her. Well, there is still one mystery though. Who is Hina? And where the heck did she come from? And I mean, how come she claims to be a god? So Youta deep dives this mystery, and as we soon discover, Hina should have been dead. Which is a huge shocker because I mean, come on, we need that big of a twist in this anime. Well, it turns out that she has a certain syndrome which kind of eats away at her muscles, so she should have died fairly young. Her initial parents could not deal with the grief of this, so it ended up being the responsibility of her grandfather to take care of her. Her grandfather was a brilliant computer scientist and overall scientist in general, and went to work on trying to come up with a cure for his granddaughter. A purely noble cause, if I've ever seen one. And he dedicated the rest of his life to making sure that Hina could have hers back. Okay, still seems fairly in the normal realm here. Until we get to figuring out what the heck was that cure. Turns out the grandfather implanted Hina with a supercomputer chip to help her brain regulate properly to not deform her muscles. Okay, I can still buy that. Alright, we're going a bit on the sci-fi. Okay, we're good. But all of a sudden there's this mysterious corporation that's deep diving the research of her grandfather. And they want to get their hands on it too. Well, with their hacker friend, they soon learn that it was a supercomputer that he built to help regulate Hina, and it turns out his granddaughter was his greatest experiment. Once the corporation gets wind of this, it's not soon after that they move on and kidnap Hina. Well, Youta and friends don't even put up a fight, and even that little spy mole in that corporation who tried to alert Hina that they were coming, it seemed like there was literally no time between the command went off and him warning them. Like, there was like almost no time in between, it felt like. So great, Hina's kidnapped. She's shipped off to some unknown facility, operated on, have the chip removed from her head. Keep in mind, the chip was what was keeping her alive, and then put in a disabled home with all these other kids. And that's how she's meant to live out the rest of her life. You know what? I have a huge grievance with this. So much. With my newfound god powers, I will take over this part and air your grievances with the anime. I can read your mind, so I will do this for you. You just take a rest and get ready for your next segment. Alright. So, this anime is not without its huge underlying plot point that just gives me... ugh. The anime was all about how Hina got a second chance at life because her grandfather spent all of his rest of his life and all of his knowledge to build a little supercomputer to be embedded into her brain to suppress the illness, halting it completely so she could get a second chance at life. And then all of a sudden, this mysterious corporation who has very little in the entire plot of the entire anime, who has no bearing resemblance, not even uncanny like relation to the main cast. It's just tracking the grandfather's work, and it has to just kidnap Hina and not just let the supercomputer stay in her head, which was doing her well and again gave her that second chance of life. No, they had to take it out of her, making her a disabled kid who basically now has how many known days to live and basically can no longer run around and be happy and cheerful. Not only that, but they took her from her new family that she had and basically put her in this institution with other disabled kids with a caregiver who again is not of her family. This anime went from being a very lighthearted, all about putting families together and healing, to basically destroying this little girl's life. The anime was perfectly fine without any of them. And again, once they had gone down with this plot point, there was no turning back. Unless somehow they had a change of heart and either put back the chip in her head or didn't even bother taking it out. But no, the author didn't want to go that route, and they did. And it just left a very sour note for me with this anime because she was happy. Everyone was happy. Yes, we just had to find the mystery that was Hina, but it worked. It was great. It was all about making nice memories. I doubt this will ever come back for a second season, nor should I believe it should. I mean, again, if that second season doesn't fix and somehow the corporation has a change of heart, then they put the chip back into her, well, I don't think there's any use coming back from that. Alright, now that he's aired out my grievance for me, I've calmed down a bit. I'm gonna take you guys through my favorite segment, Romance Corner. Alright, so this anime, again, is not huge on romance, but from the get-go, Youta has a huge crush on Izumi, and basically wants to woohoo her off of her feet, and basically become boyfriend and girlfriend. Well, Izumi doesn't quite open up and seems kind of like oblivious to this in the beginning, but as the series goes on and as she deals with her own family issues, she becomes a little more open with everybody and a little more kind-hearted, and I still think that Youta does have feelings for Izumi, and I think Izumi has feelings for him. But again, the series isn't quite revolving around them, and that's not really the premise, so we don't really get to see if that actually ends up happening. And I know there's another romance that people are kind of gunning for, and that is Youta and Hina. I mean, come on, Hina does kind of feel a bit jealous towards Youta when Youta starts spending a lot of time with Izumi and stuff. So it can easily be mistaken as a love-filled romance, and I mean, they're not blood-related at all, so it could potentially work. But to me, it always felt like more of a brother-sister kind of relationship dynamic. I mean, Youta kind of wants to include Hina as part of the family, so them being potential lovers doesn't quite sit well with me. And besides, they do feel more brother-sisterly than being a actual romance couple. And especially with that ending, I don't know. I still think Youta and Izumi are the couple of the series, more so than Hina and Youta. But let me know in the comments down below, which couple do you think is the mainstay couple of this series? Ironic that I get to do the 3 reasons why you should be watching, even though I told you all the grievances with it. Anyway, I still believe you guys should be watching it, so here are my 3 reasons. Alright, number 1. It's free-spirited. For the first half of the anime, and a good part of it, they just kind of do what they want. It's kind of fun, it's lighthearted, it's comedic, it really lifts your spirits, and it just makes you feel good. Which is really nice about this anime. So number 2, PA does a beautiful work with the visuals. Like the animation and the art style is perfectly fitting for this anime. So it just gives you this calm, collected feeling, which again, suits the anime really, really well. And number 3 is it's very heartfelt. It's very emotional because again, a big part of this anime is putting back families together and fixing the problems that they have, and Hina does a phenomenal job in helping with that. Again, I know I just went on a whole spiel earlier about how they robbed Hina of her life, but it was still beautiful to see what she had come to bring together. And I think that even though that is a huge grievance for me, that shouldn't take away from what the rest of the anime did well, and why I believe you guys should be watching this. Well, after taking a look at this series, we have clearly proven that gods do not exist, and it's really just supercomputers embedded in heads that really do all the work. And I am pretty sure neither of those are the case for him. But I'm not going to tell him that just yet. I'll let him believe that he's a god and he can have super premonitions and stuff. Well, that about wraps it up for this video. Thanks again for checking me out and listening to my review. If you like these videos, you know what to do. Hit that bell icon to get notified, and be sure you subscribe as well. I know I don't really do that, but I'm going to start probably trying to do. Alright, like I said, that's about wraps it up for this video. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care for now.